An urban legend about a videotape that kills its viewers 7 days after they see it turns out to be true. To her increasing horror, reporter Rachel Keller, their newcomer Naomi Watts discovers this after her niece is one of 4 teenage victims, and is in a race against the clock to uncover the mystery behind the girl in the video before her and her son's time is up. Released 15 years ago, on October 18, 2002, The Ring began a trend of both remaking Japanese horror films in a big way, and giving you nightmares about creepy creatures crawling out of your television. Here are some facts about the film that you can feel free to pass along to anybody, guilt-free. 1. DreamWorks bought the American rights to Ringu for $1 million. There were conflicting stories over how executive producer Roy Lee came to see the 1998 Japanese horror film Ringu, Hideo Nakata's adaptation of the 1991 novel Ring by Koji Suzuki. Lee said 2 different friends gave him a copy of Ringu in January 2001, which he loved and immediately gave to DreamWorks executive Mark Sorian, who agreed to purchase the rights. But Lee's close friend Mike Macri worked at Fine Line Features, which had an American remake of Ringu in development before January 2001. Macri said he showed Lee Ringu much earlier. Macri and Lee were both listed as executive producers for The Ring, too. The director first saw Ringu on a poor-quality VHS tape, which added to its creepiness. Gore Verbinski had previously directed Mouse Hunt. He said the first time he had the original Ringu was on a VHS tape that was probably 7 generations down. It was really poor quality, but actually that added to the mystique, especially when I realized that this was a movie about a videotape. Naomi Watts struggled to find a VHS copy of Ringu while shooting in the south of Wales. When she finally got a hold of one, she had it on a very small TV alone in her hotel room. I remember being pretty freaked out, Watts said. I just saw it the once, and that was enough to get me excited about doing it. 3. The Ring and Ringu are about 50% different. Verbinski estimated that, for the American version, they changed up to 50% of it. The basic premise is intact, the story is intact, the ghost story, the story of Samara, the child. Storylines involving the characters having ESP, a volcano, dream logic, and references to brine and goblins were taken out. 4. It rained almost every day when they filmed in the state of Washington. The weather added to the atmosphere of dread, according to the film's production notes. Verbinski said the setting allowed them to create an overcast mood of dampness and isolation. 5. The production designer was influenced by Andrew Wyeth. Artist Andrew Wyeth tended to use muted, somber earth tones in his work. In Wyeth's work, the trees are always dormant, and the colors are muted earth tones, explained production designer Tom Duffield. It's grays, it's browns, it's somber colors, it's ripped fabrics in the windows. His work has a haunting flavor that I felt would add to the mystique of this movie, so I latched onto it. 6. There were rings everywhere. The carpeting and wallpaper patterns, the circular kitchen knobs, the doctor's sweater design, Rachel's apartment number, and more were purposely designed with the film's title in mind. 7. Watts and Martin Henderson had a friendly international rivalry. The New Zealand-born Henderson played Noah, Rachel's ex-husband. Since Watts is from Australia, Henderson said that, between takes, we'd joke around with each other's accents and play into the whole New Zealand-Australia rivalry. 8. The two weren't sure if the movie was going to be scary enough. After shooting some of the scenes, and not having the benefit of seeing what they'd look like once any special effects were added, Henderson and Watts worried that the final result would not be scary enough. There were moments when Naomi and I would look at each other and say, "This is embarrassing, people are going to laugh," Henderson told the BBC. "You just hope that somebody makes it scarier, you're going to look like an idiot." 9. Chris Cooper was cut from the movie. Cooper played a child murderer in 2 scenes which were initially meant to bookend the film. He unconvincingly claimed to Rachel that he found God in the beginning, and in the end she gave him the cursed tape. Audiences at test screenings were distracted that an actor they recognized disappears for most of the film, so he was cut out entirely. 10. They tried to get rid of all of the shadows. Verbinski and cinematographer Bojan Bozelli used the lack of sunlight in Washington to remove the characters' shadows. The two wanted to keep the characters feeling as if they're floating a little bit in space. 11. The tree was nicknamed Lucille. The red Japanese maple tree in the cursed video was named after the famous red-headed actress Lucille Ball. The tree was fake, built out of steel tubing and plaster. The Washington wind blew it over 3 different times. The night they put up the tree in Los Angeles, the wind blew at 60 miles per hour and knocked Lucille over yet again. It was very strange, said Duffield, 12. Mosco Island is a functioning lighthouse. Mosco Island Lighthouse is Yaquina Head Lighthouse, at the mouth of the Yaquina River, a mile west of Agate Beach, Oregon. The website Rachel checks, MoscoIslandLighthouse.com, used to actually exist as a one-page website, which gave general information on the fictional place. You can read it here. 13. A website was created by DreamWorks to promote the movie and add to its mythology. Before and during the theatrical release, if you logged into anopenletter.com, you could read a message in white lettering against a black background warning about what happens if you the cursed video. You can read it here. By November 24, 2002, it was a standard official website made for the movie, set up by DreamWorks. 14. Verbinskididnt have fun directing the movie. It's no fun making a horror film, admitted Verbinski. You get into some darker areas of the brain and after a while everything becomes a bit depressing. 15. Daveigh Chase scared herself. When Daveigh Chase, who played Samara, saw The Ring in theaters, she had to cover her eyes out of fear of herself. Some people she met after the movie came out were also afraid of her.